Working from home. The Property Council and business lobbyists you hear talking about it in the media would like you to think that it's just something that's popped up as a byproduct of the pandemic. But that's not true at all. Working from home, remote working, hybrid working, whatever label you want to apply to it, has been around for years. According to Australian Bureau of Statistics data, prior to the pandemic, 13% of people aged 18 and over with a job reported working from home all or most days. For quite a few industries, tech in particular, remote or hybrid working was already fairly well established. All the pandemic did was expose a larger number of industries and employees to the possibilities of it. It's been more than 4 years now since the start of the pandemic kick-started remote working. You'll find report after report, study after study, highlighting the value employees and employers get from remote or hybrid working. There'll be PhDs written on this stuff, so I won't bother going into all the benefits, pros and cons here. All I'll say is that for jobs that support a hybrid or remote style of working, forcing people back into the cubicle farm for 5 days a week just doesn't make sense. Not from the employee's perspective and not from the employer's perspective. But sometimes it's not about what's best for the employer or their staff. Sometimes it's just about politics, and sometimes it's about bending over backwards to appease the Property Council and other lobbyists. Am I right, Chris Mintz?
The era of working from home has come to a screeching halt for New South Wales public servants. They have been ordered back to the office 5 days a week.
Chris Minns, the New South Wales Premier, has, as the Daily Telegraph phrase it, ordered New South Wales public servants back to the office in a move to fill cubicle seats. The Murdoch media have been quick to claim credit for the decision, and maybe they can rightly claim a little of the credit, but there is a lobby group running a far bigger victory lap as well. The Property Council of Australia had apparently been lobbying hard and were finally able to get what they asked for. Here's Katie Stevenson from the Property Council of Australia on ABC Radio.
So in terms of the Property Council, is this what you asked for, the principal directive of people working in the office principally? Is this what you wanted?
Yes, it is.
In capitulating to the Property Council and lobbyists, Minns has opted to prop up the commercial property industry. It was good to see that the Property Council and Minns were able to share some of the same talking points.
85% of the 400,000 public servants in the state don't work from home. They're frontline public servants in New South Wales, whether they're teachers, corrective service officers, New South Wales police officers, nurses. There's no option to work from home. They get up every single day to serve the people of New South Wales. Obviously, there's a proportion of public servants in the state of New South Wales that at the moment do have the option of working from home. The purpose of the circular yesterday from the Premier's Department was to say that working in the office with your colleagues is about primarily and predominantly must be in the office.
Katie Stevenson from the Property Council is quoted in the Daily Telegraph as saying, "Our nurses, teachers and police don't get the chance to work from home. There's no good reason why other public sector workers should enjoy different conditions."
You can't be serious.
I'm sorry, is your argument that because some types of jobs can't be performed remotely, then none should? You understand that teachers, nurses, police officers and office working cubicle jockeys are all doing different types of work, right? Seriously, a police officer, nurse or teacher can't work from home, so an accountant or IT person shouldn't be allowed to work from home either? Okay, then using that logic, teachers get what? 10, 12 weeks of holidays per year? I guess it's only fair then that the office workers at New South Wales Treasury are also given 10 to 12 weeks leave a year.
You mean to tell me different jobs have different employment conditions? That is incredible.
It's not rocket science. It's pretty common. Anyway, I got sidetracked. As if it weren't bad enough to see Chris Minns, a Labor Premier, bending over backwards to appease the Property Council and business lobbyists, he's also gone the unnecessary extra mile, indicating that thanks to his directive, the New South Wales Government may actually need to lease more office space. I'm sure that's going to keep the Property Council real happy. It's farcical. Make no mistake, this decision has nothing to do with productivity or corporate culture or employee well-being, and everything to do with the influence the Property Council and business lobbyists have on government. If you had any doubt about that, you need look no further than the report from the New South Wales Innovation and Productivity Council and the New South Wales Productivity Commission looking at remote work. They concluded that remote work had provided one of the biggest boosts to New South Wales productivity in recent years. They found that post-pandemic, remote working provided a 1.9% boost to the state's productivity and added $6 billion a year to New South Wales' gross state product. The report also suggested that the increase in productivity from remote working could improve the well-being of the average New South Wales household by around $1,800 a year in 2021 dollars.
That sounds pretty good.
Now that the Property Council have had some success bossing the New South Wales government, they have turned their attention to other states. The ACT Chief Minister, at least for now, is having none of it, taking a far more pragmatic approach. Andrew Barr said the public sector's role was to deliver services to the public, not to fill offices. Barr said that if the property sector was worried about vacancy rates, landlords should consider lowering their rents. I think he's spot on. I know what you're thinking, we're in a housing crisis. If the commercial property vacancy rates are so high, why not convert some of those to residential properties? This question was put to the Property Council.
What about, though, repurposing office space? We've got a housing crisis and we've got empty office blocks.
We do, and it's something we've seen the City of Sydney in particular take note of, and they've got policies in place to move towards looking at what we can do with that redundant office space to make sure that it can contribute to addressing our housing crisis. The challenge we've got is anyone that works in an office knows that they're quite big, bulky buildings. It's great if you've got a desk that's by a window, but for most of us, we're in the middle of the building and it's quite far away. There's not openable windows. It's a very different environment and it's usually not conducive to people living there.
I have to say, she really wasn't selling me on a CBD office there. But I think there's a simpler explanation for why we aren't seeing these buildings repurposed, and that is commercial properties offer significantly greater returns than residential properties do. Allow me to put on the tinfoil hat for a moment and allow me to put forward a slightly darker theory on what else might be behind the New South Wales government's return to the office push, and that is guilt-free job cuts. It's no secret that the New South Wales government are looking to cut the number of public sector staff. Going down the path of redundancies can be expensive. The New South Wales government know that a large percentage of the workforce that have been working remotely value the ability to do that. They know that their staff are happier doing that. They know that it helps them to retain staff. There's mountains of data that tells them all this stuff.
What could we do? Hypothetically, of course, to nudge staff to leave, to lower retention rates.
I wonder.
It may not be top of mind for the majority of visitors to this channel, but return to the office mandates also disproportionately impact women and people with caring responsibilities, which leads to companies hemorrhaging female talent. For those that have spent the past 4.5 years hybrid or remote working, returning to the office full-time essentially means taking a pay cut. So all those things considered, forcing people back into the office is a great way to get people to look for a job elsewhere, and therefore leave of their own accord. No redundancies necessary. This is an easy, almost guilt-free way to cut staff. Hey, we didn't have to fire anyone. Obviously, the return to the office mandate will have a negative impact on the public service and the quality of services provided to the people of New South Wales. High performers will be more likely to leave. They'll find an alternative employer that will meet their needs. And as for taxpayers, if we've learnt nothing else, it's that a cut in the number of public sector jobs usually just leads to an increase in spending on consultants. It's the government circle of life. Hakuna Matata. I'm sure the Big Four will be happy. Okay, I'll take the tinfoil hat off. I'm old enough to remember a time when the ALP pitched themselves as the party for the workers, but that seems like a long time ago now. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but for me, the New South Wales government's direction is just another sign that the ALP have further drifted away from their traditional values. Through their actions, present-day Labor are looking increasingly beholden to private interests, at the expense of those citizens they'd traditionally have represented.